Fox News alert, the House just passed a war powers resolution to end the war in Iran. The final vote, 215-208, with 4 Republicans breaking rank, including Thomas Massie, who just lost his re-election bid. The vote would mean the president would have to seek out congressional approval for any future military action. The bill now is going to be voted on in the Senate, so we'll see what happens there. Even if it does pass out of the Senate, Trump will just veto it, so it's more symbolic. In other news, someone might have to clean up his cave because someone's coming over for dinner.
The people we're dealing with, we know they're the people that are leading the country right now.
Is it the gay Ayatollah?
He's involved, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I think they have a lot of respect for him.
Would you like to meet him or meet any of the Iranians in person?
I've never thought of it, actually. It's a very good question. I'll think of it. Yeah, I'd like to meet him. I'd like to meet everybody. I'd like to meet him. We probably will meet at some point, depending on how it all works out.
I doubt the president would have a summit underground, but Trump will sign a treaty anywhere. That's if things go well. If they don't, here come the B-52s.
I have to make a determination. Do we sign a deal or we do it the other way? And the other way is not nice.
What will the other way achieve, though?
Certainty. It would be over. There wouldn't be any. There wouldn't be any talking. There wouldn't be any delays. There wouldn't be. But I'd rather do it the nice way, from a humanitarian standpoint.
POTUS says it takes 2 to tango for a deal. If not, well, Lockheed Martin's been doing a little testing over in Arizona. For the first time ever, they intercepted an Iranian-style drone using a Grizzly launcher. It's cheap, effective, and Lockheed's put all of this together during the ceasefire. So don't get on Trump's bad side. Netanyahu did this week. It didn't go well.
You said, are you effing crazy? What are you effing doing? I helped you stay out of jail. Is that true? Did you speak to him in those terms?
I did. I wouldn't say angry. I was a little bit perturbed at his constantly fighting with Lebanon. You know, at some point I said, Bibi, we got to stop this. We got to stop it.
Israel's been freelancing in Lebanon, and Trump doesn't want to have that scuttle the deal. Netanyahu, he responded.
President confirmed that he said, you're effing crazy. How did you react to that? What really happened in that call?
Well, sometimes we have, as in the best of families, you have these tactical disagreements. We always find a way to work them out, and we do so as great friends. We can disagree in the morning, and by the afternoon we have common action.
Lebanon does have a big problem, a Hezbollah problem.
Hezbollah is not just a challenge to Israel, it's a challenge to Lebanon, to the Lebanese state and the Lebanese people. And we are hopeful that we can create a paradigm in which Lebanon's government and Israel can work together to disarm Hezbollah and allow the people of Lebanon to reclaim its country. But it's complex. This has been going on since, since OJ had isotoners.
Speaking of Hezbollah, turns out they have phones.
We actually spoke with Hezbollah for the first time ever. We didn't know they spoke.
The president says Hezbollah and Israel both agreed they're not going to shoot at each other anymore, for now. So we'll see. If the Iranians get cute with their drones, we're going to hit them back. Yesterday, we hit one of their islands right in the mouth of the strait.
How do you define ceasefire?
Pretty much the way it is. It's a different part of the world. You know, I'd say in that part of the world, ceasefire is when you're shooting in a more moderate manner.
The only big bombs Trump wants to see are Iran's, and he's ready to dig up the dust.
And that stuff is buried underneath a mountain that virtually collapses. Very, very hard to get it. But nevertheless, I want to get it. We're the only ones, us and probably China are the only 2 countries that have the equipment where you can do that.
The president still has something else on his mind, too.
You were talking about regime change. Why is nobody talking about that now?
Why do you say we're not talking about it? I said the other day.
Because President Trump seems ready to make a deal with this current regime.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he wants this regime to stay.
The one-legged gay Ayatollah is being led around on a leash by the Republican Guard. He's a figurehead without any lips. Trump's working on a grand bargain to open up the strait, denuke the mullahs, and sew up the Abraham Accords. What are the Democrats doing? They're talking about Marco's feet.
Just like you won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice, and just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big. You clearly don't know what winning means.
Yeah, I don't know about the shoes. I mean, he gave me some Florsheim shoes. They're actually pretty good. They fit fine. I don't know what she's talking about.
Your shoes look very nice today, Mr. Secretary.
Well, how can you see them? They're way down here. We're talking about shoes. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus? What is this?
We'll have more on feet later in the show. You know what else Democrats can't stop thinking about? Trump in the bedroom.
Donald Trump is sleeping right next to you.
No, he's not.
If Donald Trump cannot stay awake at these important meetings where the cameras are rolling, imagine what he's like when the cameras are not there.
We had a cognitively impaired president in office a few years ago. That's a cognitively impaired president, but I don't like to talk about that because it weakens America. This president we have, this is a guy that literally doesn't sleep. Okay, I've been on foreign trips with the president that he doesn't sleep in the whole flight. And everyone else is sleeping on the plane, and he's, wandering the hallways looking for someone to wake up and talk to.